Мы идем на награждение. Это у нас сразу же такая маленькая сюрприз. Собственная стоянка. VIP-стоянка для машины. Мелочь, но приятно. Мы уже сильно опаздываем. Летим на всех парусах. Вот такая красавица у нас Мэгги. Сейчас идем на награждение.
When I tell you I don't even need that, I'm from Brooklyn. We got it inside. It's great. But I'm so very honored to be amongst you. Yes, as Dr. Snell has said, my name is Ohavia Phillips, in-arena host for our Charlotte Hornets, a business owner, and just a very, very proud alumna of UNC Charlotte. It's so funny to see how everyone loves us now, but we've been loved us. So I just love it for us, how literally they're seeing our excellence, they're seeing our commitment to students, our commitment to community service and leadership. Again, we've been here, but I'm so honored to continuously take the name everywhere I go. Speaking of being honored, I am so very honored to introduce to you all 5 of our honorees who are impeccable in different disciplines, industries, in community, but one thing is for sure, they put on for UNC Charlotte. And the second thing is for sure, they never let us down. Starting with Dr. Margaret Kocherga. Yes. Oh. I just want to brag about you. I gotta brag about you first. So here's how it works, honorees. I will brag about you, then you will walk over to my good brother Andrew Baker, pose with the model trophy. We wanted to protect yours, so it is in the box. Take an awesome photo, and then, enjoy all the things. Yes. So first up is the beautiful and impeccable Dr. Margaret Kocherga. So let me brag a little bit. Dr. Kocherga is an award-winning, early-stage entrepreneur and choreographer. Originally from Ukraine, she finds joy in exploring other cultures and has visited 32 countries. She is the founder and CEO of Light and Charge Solutions, LLC, and Margaret, did I say it right? Yes! Margaret Incorporated, which was founded with a focus on the commercialization of materials for organic electronics and organic LEDs. Ooh. Put that on a shirt. Dr. Kocherga was recognized as an innovator by Charlotte Innovations inaugural under 25 program and Charlotte Startups to Watch. With a PhD in nanoscale science from UNC Charlotte, her main specialty is the area of electron transport materials for organic light-emitting diodes for lighting and displays. Incredible work. In addition to being a scientist, Dr. Kocherga is also a professional ballerina. Her career path's trajectory from the stage to the laboratory was the result of receiving a career-threatening injury. Impeded by the injury, she began her research in heavy metal coordination chemistry during an undergraduate program, which led her to organic, inorganic, hybrid material electronics. She is amazing. She's known as a unicorn, which 10 out of 10, I love it, you're my favorite. And she is amazing. Her end goal is to help create more sustainable futures, and we're honored that you're here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, help me in celebrating Dr. Margaret. No, listen, honestly, I'm honored. I'm honored to brag about you. Yes, so feel free to do a speech and take a photo. All right.
Thank everybody, and thank you, Margaret. I met you a couple of
I know, I know.
She agreed to it. So yeah, Niners are known for community work.
Yes.
It is something that I've started back in undergraduate. I've attended the science fairs and all that good stuff that university continues to do. And in graduate school, I did have a chance to even establish my own outreach programs along with PhD students, master's students, and undergraduate students. And we went out to schools, we went out to communities, we went to the science festivals. We were the first attendees of the Kids Fest, and I now return every single year to the Kids Fest. I'm known as the girl that sets them up on fire. Not literally, but that's what it looks like to kids. I really thank everybody who came here tonight. I want to thank a couple of people. Many of them are here tonight, actually, so I want to make sure that you're acknowledged. I do want to thank my family first. If it's not for them, I wouldn't be here today in many ways. My mother is here with me, and I really appreciate their support through all the crazy decisions that I decided to do for one reason or another. next person I want to thank is Dr. Donovan Margaret. And I will never forget the story of my first year of PhD. And it's an interesting time where you're no longer like an undergrad, right? You're an adult. You have to manage your life, you have to manage school, there is a lot of unknown, you need to make life decision choices of who's going to be a PhD advisor, and that kind of dictates what your future is going to be. So it's a lot of frightening things. And about halfway through that first semester, I came to her office crying and sobbing. I want to drop out, I can't do this anymore. And she spent an hour convincing that, no, just stick it out, you'll be fine. Just get over this hump, you'll do great. So I really appreciate that she enabled me to believe in myself and continue on with what I'm doing until this day. And the next person is Dr. Tom Schmedeke. He was my PhD advisor, and not only bless that man's heart, I don't know why he did all the things that I put him through, but if not that, I would not have the career I have today. This man not only enabled me to pursue research I wanted to do, which is rare and it not always aligns for PhD students to do your dream work. But he also attended with, under my NSF, award for development of graduate students for the workforce. I was one of the last recipients for that award. We partnered with Charlotte Teachers Institute here at university, and we went out to middle schools with this man to embed science curriculums to 8th graders, and we did science camps there and brought the students to campus as well. Then, once again, I don't know why he did all of this. He went through I-Corps customer discovery through Ventureprise with me. He traveled to National I-Corps with NSF to 100 in-person interviews. And if not all of these opportunities and him enabling me as a student to go out there and research what I want to do with my career, what are other options out there, how to better prepare myself for the future, I would not be the founder of companies, right? I wouldn't be the entrepreneur, I wouldn't be the scientist I am today. So I really appreciate what this university allows students to do and pursue. And I hope all of these opportunities will continue to come along, especially now we're coming out of COVID, things coming back. So I really hope a lot of the opportunities come back full scale. Please support the students, support the professors, support those that make the behind the scenes work because there's a lot of work and it's often not seen. So I really appreciate everybody for what you do, and please continue to do so. And hopefully for all of you, there's going to be many, many more great things to come. Thank you so much.
And it's so awesome to call you doctor, too. Love it. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, this next honoree holds a very for just amazing people, young people. But let me get to his bio. That was just the old part, the old version. Okay. So Boris Blues Rogers is an Emmy award-winning poet, director of creative engagement for Blumenthal Performing Arts, and he's also the radio, ESPN, and CTV, where he wrote and performed several introductions for NASCAR, nationally televised shows. Blues made a historic impact as the first performer and African-American performer at the opening ceremony of NASCAR Hall of Fame. His talent and voice were also used by the city of Charlotte to win the All-America City Award. His unique voice and style was also called on by the Carolina Panthers, as well as the Charlotte Hornets, and he's the Tony Award-winning show Freestyle Love Supreme. Blues has shared the stage with many distinguished poets, from Nikki Giovanni to Rudy Francisco, and he has opened up for iconic groups like Pink Floyd, Outkast, and The Roots, and that's just to name a few. We are honored, ladies and gentlemen, help me in honoring the impeccable Mr. Blues Boris.
Bought a new shirt for this. It is my honor to be standing here, mostly because I'm not the most successful student, right? I wasn't getting the 4.0 GPA. I definitely don't have my doctorate, but I am so honored.
I did
to be
have a
here.
4.0 too, so don't worry.
Just to be here, to be seen by my peers, is always the best honor, right? For folks who see you doing the work you're supposed to be doing, operating in your purpose, moving how you're supposed to be moving. Not worried about what you're accomplishing or what you set out to accomplish, as long as you're doing the thing you want to do. To be here is surreal, right? Because my wife is here. And the reason I graduate, because I started in '94, if I'm being quite honest, and I stopped going to school. 2, a husband, a provider, and I started reading the chapters in the books. I was like, oh, it's that easy? And it was knowing what I needed to do, what I wanted to accomplish, and what I wanted to finish. I wanted to finish what I had started. And she encouraged me to that point. So thank you for seeing me, for pushing me. And now I have this wonderful position at Blumenthal Performing Arts where I get to see people, push them, let them finish what they have started. When I met this young woman, I said, that is the next Oprah, right? And then I said, nah, Oprah is Oprah, Ohavia is Ohavia. And I told her, whatever it is you want to do, let me help. And she was like, I don't know, just give me some direction. I'm like, oh, just go. Whatever you say you want to do, just go. And to be able to see other people's vision, to be able to see other people wanting to operate in their purpose and having the resources and connections to do so, that is a dream come true for me. Someone just asked me, Donna was asking me what it is that I do professionally, and I'm like, well, I'm a poet, but what I do now is a director of creative engagement, and when I'm not doing poetry, I'm trying to lift people. I'm trying to lift creatives. And we now live in a city where our Charlotte City government decides to cut funding for a platform that helps Black and brown people, Black and brown creatives, down to a minimum. So I now sit in a position where I say a privilege, working for Blumenthal Performing Arts, where we have the opportunity to step into the gap.
Yeah.
And I will always do that. I will always do that as a Black person, a Black man, a UNCC alum, a Charlotte citizen, a creative. I will always try to see all people where they are and try to help them when I can. Y'all, it's not easy, but it's the work that I'm tasked to do, and I love it. So, if you know someone out there who's struggling with their creative art, who's thinking about moving away, send them to me first. Because I've always said the greatest resource this city has ever had is its people, is its creative population. Think about every cool art district that we have and what it was before it was gentrified. It was a cool art space. It was a place you went to have a glass of wine and hear an acoustic player. It was a place where you got to see some poetry or saw a magician doing magic, right? And then they built a brewery on top of it. I don't know. It is those things that we try to keep here in Charlotte, the character of who we are. And you
Up in small upstate New York town. He attended Dartmouth College and graduated in 1977. In that same year, he joined the family business and co-founded a new division. In doing so, he made use of his liberal arts degree by blending early 20th century distribution models, 17th century naval compensation models, 19th land contract law, Shakespearean rhetoric, and emerging computational technology. The new division soon became the tail that wagged the dog. Branch moved to Charlotte in 1994 and sold his portion of the company in 2004. Soon after retiring, Mr. Twig found his way to UNC Charlotte, where he talked his way into the graduate program. I can't wait to hear the story. Despite sorely trying the patience of his professors, he attained a master's in religious studies, a master's in history, and a master's in Latin American studies. He continues to attend and enjoy classes exploring topics that are new to him. During his time at UNC Charlotte, Twig has helped establish the Class Salon Outreach Program, the Class Capitalism Minor, the Class Witness in Residence Program, the Slave Cemetery Project, the PAR I don't want to mispronounce this, but it is a Phenomenal Study Abroad Fund, the Ruff English Scholarship, the Mark West Travel Grant, the Meyer White Scholarship, the Patrick Prize, the Odyssean Travel Grant, Atkins Out Loud, and several other curious initiatives. I'm curious. Twig engages in what he describes as recreational fundraising. He does this by searching out prospective donors and matching them with projects about which they soon become passionate. To date, Branch has helped raise nearly $5 million in donation in support of class projects. We are so very honored to introduce and celebrate Mr. Twig Branch.
Basically, the thesis proposal for all three of my masters. No, actually, I'm not going to do that too at all. I retired about 15 years ago, looking for things to do. Did in fact talk my way past Jeff Myers into the religious studies program, which I had no reason at all to get into. An enormous number of very patient people took me under their wing, including Judy Pagan, who only taught me twice. And during that time, I made a lot of friends. It's been great. The patience of the professors out here, the kindness of the staff has made a memorable difference in my life. I also want to thank my wife, Margaret, who's actually taking my picture. And because there should be an adult in every family. And she handles that task. So thank you very much for thinking of me. And have a good evening.
Very, very honored to honor the great Dr. Sean Long. After receiving his doctorate from the University of Kentucky, Sean began his career at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. The university was his home for 20 years. Sean loved Charlotte and Niner Nation. Every time he spoke about Charlotte, it was always with excitement. Sean loved teaching. He loved his peers and colleagues, but especially he loved his students. After leaving Charlotte, he became the first Black dean at Kennesaw State University. Sean could always light up a room with his radiant smile. His mother recalls when he was 5 years old, and she was in the Student Center at Southeast Community College in Cumberland, Kentucky. At that time, someone played a song by Michael Jackson, and Dr. Sean immediately began his Michael Jackson routine. The center was full of students, and Dr. Long had all their attention. After the song was over, the students broke out into applause. You can say Dr. Long was never shy. He also took his career very seriously, receiving many awards in his lifetime. His motto was service to others is an important component of my professional and personal life. Sean's final achievements was writing and receiving a large grant for Kennesaw State University's Humanities and Social Sciences Department, where he left his carbon footprint here on Earth. We are very honored to bring up the loved ones and family of Dr. Sean Long. Thank you all so much for being here. Can we please honor them?
It is such an honor to accept this award for Sean. If any of you ever met him, you would never forget him. He was a humble person. He was a humorous person. He would keep you in stitches. But most of all, he always talked about UNC Charlotte. His mother and I were talking about it just today. We came up on campus and we said, don't you remember when we would visit that he would just, oh, well, this is the new building. Oh, that we're doing this and that, this department. We're doing that. So he loved this university. Loved it, loved it, loved it. And as I said, we are so honored. His brother is here. His mom, there's his mom. And there's his best friend that flew in just today, just for this occasion. And I can hear him now because, as I said, he was a character. He was a character. I can hear him in my head now saying, "That's what's up." That's what's up. So I thank each and every one of you, each and every one of you, for remembering him. That's the thing that mostly concerned us, is will they forget him? Don't forget him, because he was so special to the family. We loved him just dearly, dearly. And thank you, thank you, thank you.
We will definitely not love these of you. Yes, first of all, Mr. Dr. Nancy A. Gutierrez. Such an honor. Okay, so Dr. Gutierrez retired as Dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte in June 2022, a position she held for 17 years. Early in her career, she held faculty positions at the University of Cincinnati and the University of Texas at San Antonio. Immediately prior to coming to UNC Charlotte, she spent 20 years as a faculty member and administrator at Arizona State University. At UNC Charlotte, Dr. Gutierrez was a strong advocate for the liberal arts and sciences. For example, she created LEADS, a program that provides opportunities for class students to apply their education in real-world environments. She also worked with faculty to develop an office of interdisciplinary studies and advances interdisciplinary thinking broadly in research, as well as undergraduate and graduate curriculum. Other areas of emphasis during her career include the role of the Scholarship of Engagement in promotion and tenure decisions, globalization in the curriculum, and faculty leadership in the changing higher education environment. She was a key player in the development of the Charlotte Teachers Institute, an award-winning professional development program for CMS K-12 teachers. Dr. Gutierrez received a BA in English from Denison University, Iota Bay summa cum laude, and Phi Beta Kappa. Gotta brag about you. And an MA and PhD degrees in English literature from the University of Chicago. A scholar of early modern English literature, Dr. Gutierrez was published on Shakespearean drama and early modern women. We are so honored to have you. Thank you so much for your impact. Thank you for highlighting and emphasizing everything good about our community. Ladies and gentlemen, help me in honoring Dr. Gutierrez.
No remarks. Secondly, this is so boring. My life is so boring compared to the 4 people who came before me. First of all, I want to say a couple of things about Margaret and Blues, who are students. But aren't they great? Yeah. I mean, I just was so, and you, okay, there we are. I mean, this is why the college exists, is to advance people, not necessarily young people, because we have Twig and we have Blues who tell us that we come into, serendipitously, into people's lives at a particular time, and we're able to create wonder and gloriousness. So there were other things the students at Dartmouth knew that they were going to be movers and shakers. The students at UNC Charlotte didn't always have that understanding when they first walked in. And so what he has done through his philanthropy is help us, help faculty and staff create programs, identify students and so on, so that the students understand when they walk on this campus, they can do anything. They can be anything. And so, and he did it, he was sometimes really annoying. Really annoying. And he had ideas that didn't work, and he brought in people that didn't quite gel. But you know what? He persisted because he so totally believed in what the power of this college could do. And so that's why, I mean, he has 3 dates after his name, but those 3 dates allowed him to understand the character of this place. And please, Sean's family, don't leave before I meet you. Sean was so special. And I remember, I didn't know him very well until he became chair of the Department of Communication Studies. And then he and I met regularly. And at that point, I mean, he was this amazing, competent, engaging educator. And he had so many opportunities. And every time he had an opportunity that would take him away from UNC Charlotte, he and I would sit and chat. Although one time I remember walking around Washington, D.C. on the telephone, because that's when he got that amazing opportunity, and so that's when he could chat with me, and so that's what we did. And I was able, so when you're a mentor, you don't want to say, don't do that. You want to bring your mentee to the point where they understand that maybe they need to go in a different direction. And so I was able to persuade Sean at various points to stay here, that there were opportunities here. And then in 2019, he called me in March, and I was again in Washington. I don't know why that was, but I was in my hotel room, and he said he was a finalist for the dean position at Kennesaw State, and I said, it's time. That's the role for you. And he would have been a president of a major university. His spirit, his character, he was able, this is their memorial to Sean, so stop this, but seeing his photo and hearing his hand, he's really missed. He will not be forgotten. And there is, in fact, an account, a program for the Shaw Legacy Fund, and I encourage you all to, for your philanthropy dollars, to think about that. I want to thank the Alumni Council. I want to thank Andrew for this honor. I can truly say that being dean of this college was such an amazing opportunity for me, and it is. I served for 17 years. It seems like a long time. It's a blip. Where this college is going, what it's going to achieve afterwards. I'm not in Charlotte anymore, but I am so happy that I was able to be part of it for that 17 years. And believe me, it has given me more than I feel I've given it. And I thank the council for this. I'm so happy this finally happened, and I just thank you.
so many different ways exemplify, all the stuff the college does. And I remember Sean. I didn't know him as well as Nancy did, but it just, yeah, it was a huge loss, and it's great to have him recognized. So, why don't I invite Provost Bertone to come up and say a few words, and then she joined us in January and is launched into a whirlwind, and it's just a wonderful opportunity to have you here. And again, thank you for joining.
So, thank you so much for inviting me here tonight. So, organize a minute. So, before I get into the part where I talk to you about my comments, I want to start by saying already I feel I know class better by listening to the history of these individuals, which is truly outstanding. Number one, I got to meet a dancing chemist, entrepreneur. I got to meet a poet, orator, entrepreneur. And twig, you're a fellow New Yorker. I could sense it right from the beginning. And it's still in there. And of course, Sean, I was not able to meet Sean, but I feel I know him after listening to the people today. What an impact, what a life. And in honor of him tonight is so important. And of course, Nancy, who I did bother her once on her retirement, asked her to please give me some guiding lights in history, help me understand class. Because class is something special. Let's talk about that in a minute. So, first of all, thank you, John, for your introduction and your warm welcome that he has had for me since January. And also, it's my pleasure to just be here as part of this inaugural event that we know will continue. So first of all, wow. Yeah, I've met you before, and you're always a wow. And she's trying to help me because I realize I really need help with new outfits. It's really hit me tonight on multiple occasions. So I need help in that department. But we are here today to be humbled by their accomplishments and their commitments. So please, one last time, let's have a round of applause for all of you. Charlotte is a university that is on the rise, and we really felt that in the reaffirmation of the accreditation process this week. Everyone was totally impressed. And as a new person coming from the Ohio State University, I have to say it, and I know I'm wearing red, and it's been brought out several times today, but it became really apparent that this center on what is called equitable, active learning and engagement, it is here, and you should be so proud. You have no idea. When I came here and started to understand it, the Charlotte model, I realized that Ohio State, as great as it is, and it's great, is light years behind where you are, truly. And you don't build these things overnight. You didn't build it overnight.
Because I want to give everyone the opportunity and time to mix and mingle and talk with all of the honorees, but also all of the guests here. But as I was standing over there, and as I was sitting here and talking to other people, listening to other people talk, there are moments when you volunteer for this university that you look back on with immense pride. And I can tell you that as I reflect on tonight is going to be one of those nights. This was a year-long project to get tonight underway and completed. And I want to take a moment to thank the council members here in attendance that took this journey with me all the way through tonight. So thank you to Natalie Huey, Dick Beekman, Victoria Torres, Gregory Rayner. I'm really appreciative for you all being here tonight, seeing this project through to the end, and celebrating 5 very intentionally selected, but definitely worthy honorees to start what I believe will firmly be a strong tradition for the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. So with that being said, thank you all for a great night. Please drive home safely. There is some dessert, I believe, in the back over there to your right. Take some time, mix and mingle with the honorees. Say hello to somebody that you don't know, and let's keep the night going just a little bit longer. Thank you all.